So in undergrad, I was a history major. I studied the American Civil War while going to school in Montreal, in Canada. I'm from New York originally, so whatever. That's what interested me. One of the things I learned about as a historian, one of the best documents that you can find to understand how people lived are documents that track how people spent money. Budgets, essentially. Ledger books. Same thing, if you're interested in politics, people will often say that like a city's budget or a state's budget is representative of its values. And the exact same thing holds true for a piece of art, for a film, a piece of art and commerce. Your budget, a lot of people think of this as sort of this like cold enemy concept. It's like the thing that's meant to prevent you from being able to fulfill your dreams from an artist perspective. From an executive perspective, the budget can sometimes feel like, the art can feel the other way. The script can feel like the thing that's going to explode the budget beyond this point of recognition. That the people have these ideas that don't fit into the container that's available for them. And like one of the things that is just tough about making, creative media in America is you need to find someone to pay for it. The government's not going to do it for you. So unless you're independently wealthy, you need to find either investors or you need to find studios that are willing to put up the cash to make the thing you want. For me, I like to think of budgets as these records of this way of documenting the purpose of the film. I'm working on a film currently. We have a budget of $1.3 million. We didn't land at 1.3 arbitrarily. There's a way to pad that budget to make it look like $3 million. But as far as I'm concerned, it's both sort of non-ethical and not necessary. Then in fact, the bloat on a film like that will deprive the film of some of its creative power. Because the best answer when it comes to storytelling and for making a film, oftentimes isn't more money. By the same token, there are certain stories that require certain kind of resources. And if you try to make a $5 million film with a $500,000 budget, you're going to be disappointed by your results because it's not going to look as good as it should. You're going to miss the mark on certain things. Certain things aren't going to be up to par. And so you need to be able to, again, find this balance between the art and the commerce. And if you can find that balance, you're in a really great place. So when I look at a budget, I like to see what's important to these filmmakers. When I make a budget, one of the things I always ask when I'm talking to a director or producer or someone else that I'm working with, a collaborative production company, etc., I try to find out what's most important to them. What are the things that they feel really strongly about that need to be a certain way or need to reach a certain kind of level? Is this a film where you really need a certain kind of level of talent? Is this a film where you really need expansive, exciting locations? Is this a film where you really need certain level of special effects, or the story doesn't work? Whatever the answers to those are going to give us some flags in the sand, and it's going to point us in the direction of what it is we're trying to make, and it's going to be guiding principles as we go to start making the thing. And it also helps us, even before we have the money, helps us talk about what's important about the project we're doing, because we know. We know what we're aiming at. So, just like I learned when I, was studying history up at McGill University, I learned that like looking at a budget for a film that's already been made is also fascinating, because you can compare what they spent, sometimes ostensibly, depending on like the validity of the budgets you're looking at, and you can see what they got. And you can see how those things align or they don't. And you can see where you think they cut corners and where you think they, padded their shit. And if you can find that out, it's kind of cool and informative.